Hello and welcome to another episode of The Living Philosophy. Today we're going to look at a comparison between the Taoist system of energy and the chakra system of the Indian subcontinent. And there's just one little notion that I want to pick up on there, which I think has big implications for how we're looking at things in the West and the spiritual community here. And it's a very interesting spiritual distinction. With the chakra system, it's a hierarchy from the base chakra all the way up to the crown chakra. And you really want to start living more and more at those higher levels in order to burst out the top in a sort of enlightenment, in a sort of connection to a universal energy. And I think that idea, that concept it functions dangerously in the mind of an individual. And I think that it might lead us towards an idea of an experience of spiritual bypassing, of becoming disconnected from ourselves and of becoming inflated, our egos becoming inflated with these spiritual ideas and becoming spiritual people. And this, I can find this quite repulsive in the spiritual community when people are coming along to you and they're using a lot of Indian words and they're using a lot of like this affected vibe of peace. And you know, when you get to know some of these people and you can just see what? It's like, you're not like that at all. You're not actually at peace in yourself. And it's something that can be so inauthentic. And I guess inauthenticity is something that can rub me up the wrong way. I guess it's more that being coupled with a righteousness, with that being like this person thinking that they're better than you because they're so spiritual and you're living such a base, crass life. And yeah, so it's I think that's been captured in this idea of the chakra system, of that ascendancy, because it's a hierarchical system that leads, the higher up the chakras you are, the better off you are. And you can see this maps very well over onto spiral dynamics, that, you know, every level is a conflict with the level beneath it in the first tier. So the oranges of commercialism and scientific thinking and materialist thinking, you see them going and goading the religious people, the blue, the level beneath them, and goading them and saying how silly they are for believing in God. And then you get the level after orange, which is green, and the greens coming along to the oranges and being like, oh, you're so over the top with your excessive materialism, and you haven't discovered what happiness is. You're just obsessed with like power and making money and wealth and stuff. But each level is just in conflict with the level beneath it, and it just becomes like this petty food fight. And so while those spiritual people, it can often seem like to them like they're the superior level, like they're connecting more to the universe and to global consciousness and global actualization. It can be, if the lower drives aren't actually in alignment, then it becomes very cringy, because it's a way of bypassing your problems on a lower level by identifying with this higher power. It's like it's a cure-all, it's a panacea for your own problems which you haven't actually dealt with. You've just kind of run away and gone into this spiritual little bubble. And I think that can come along with the chakra system, but there's a beautiful other idea in the Taoist systems that I've come across. I remember seeing in some Taoist book about the energy coming up the spine. And it's again this Kundalini energy which comes from the base chakra and it comes up the spine. And that's what the yogas are trying to activate, is that energy in Kundalini yoga of releasing that primal serpent energy which triggers the pineal gland and releases that DMT and gives a kind of a spiritual experience. And fascinating as that is and earth-shaking, it's not grounded, you know what I mean? There's a great danger with that Kundalini awakening, that you just become completely ungrounded. Whereas what I find interesting with the Taoist system is, yes, the energy comes up, but then it is brought down into the lower dantian, into the, I guess it's the equivalent of the Manipura chakra, the solar plexus in the chakra system. But the chakras aren't seen as all just coming up linearly. The lower dantian is at the front, whereas those baser things are at the back. So the energy comes up the back and you ground it in the belly. And I think that's beautiful, because that's you achieve all this spiritualization, you bring all that energy up, but then you bring it down, you earth it, you ground all your wisdom back into your life. And there's that old saying that if you want to know how your spiritual quest is going, go home for Christmas. And that is just that Taoist idea, true and true, because you got that thing of you're bringing up that energy. How is your spiritual quest going? Have you achieved something in the sense of inflating yourself and believing that you're better than your family, that you're on a different level of consciousness and they're on a lower vibration? Or can you go there? Has your spiritual thing given you some kind of equanimity? Has it brought you the peace to be able to raise that vibration of your family, to change your relationship with your family? And that's real wisdom. That's a living philosophy. That's spirituality right there, because that's everything you've learned, all that wisdom is transforming your life at home. And it's the reason why it's so good is because family, more than anyone else, because they grew up, they know us, they know what we were like throughout our whole lives. And if we've just taken on this new identity and it hasn't permeated deep into us, then they're still going to be able to trigger those lower aspects of us. They're still going to be able to trigger, they know how to press our buttons. And the Marie-Louise von Franz, Jung's protege and his successor, she said that if someone has an ego inflation because it irritates the people around them. And so you will find that an ego inflation of the newly spiritual will irritate their family, and they will press their buttons, and that person will of course react the way they have done before. And I'm probably being a bit harsh. I would have been like that as well. I guess that's the start of the journey, that it's, but even now I'm sounding self-righteous now as well. But yeah, it's the thing of, I love the Taoist idea because it's about grounding it. It's about bringing that wisdom back into your world. It's about making it earthy. It's about taking that encounter with the spiritual, with the divine, with the ethereal, and bringing it into your day-to-day life, into making that wisdom breathe, making it live, making it become deep in your bones. And so you're aligning those other chakras. So you're bringing everything into alignment. You're sorting out all the issues you have at a lower level and building a solid base with that pyramid of self-actualization. So that was just a thought that I wanted to share, is the images we carry before us, as I covered in that Wittgenstein episode, where I talked about Wittgenstein talking about the last judgment of Christianity, and how we've got these regulating ideas, these images we carry in our mind, and how someone with the last judgment will always have the last judgment in front of their eyes, and it will influence their actions throughout their life. And I feel like the regulating image of the chakras isn't as helpful for someone coming into spirituality as the image of the Tao, as of that image of the energy coming up and the energy coming down, because you still want to activate that energy, but what do you do with it? Do you just want to blow off into another realm, into a nirvanic realm where you're disconnected from the world around you, or you're disconnected from everyday life and you just belong in a monastery? And there is room for that in society, of course. There's room for the super wise, but even like I look at the Dalai Lama, I look at those Tibetan monks, and look at Thich Nhat Hanh with the Zen tradition, and it's the wisdom is that they bring it back into life. They're involved in this world. And I guess that's what the idea of the Bodhisattva is it's that bringing that energy back down. It's turning back to life. It's turning back to help the world, rather than just going off and becoming a Buddha. In a sense, the Bodhisattva tradition says that the Bodhisattva has more compassion than a Buddha. In many ways, they will in the future become Buddhas. I guess the Buddha is like the sun, but they're just the operators on earth. There's no need for another Buddha when the Dharma has been revealed. So they're staying in this world out of compassion, and that's the grounding of that energy. And you see with Thich Nhat Hanh, he talks about the origins of Buddhism, like the way Buddhism is written down in the old texts, as being very negative, in the sense of don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, do not become attached. And he's saying something admired in the Christian tradition, and something that needs to be integrated into Buddhism is the active, the positive traits. Oh, go out and do good. And he sees this with Vietnam, that you can avoid doing evil, but to do good is very important as well. To be active in your spirituality and not just negative, not just to pull back, not just to say no. And this is with the Nietzschean, say yes to everything, say yes to life, reaffirm every wound that's happened to you. And yeah, I just think it's a better regulating image, is the idea of the Tao, of grounding that back down, rather than just going off into some spiritually very fascinating quest, spiritually very interesting and like a sci-fi experience, like a fantasy experience, like a true archetypal collective unconscious experience. But is it changing your everyday life? And that's what's important. So yeah, that's everything that I had to share today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Living Philosophy. If you have, please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'd love to hear from you down in the comments, any insights, thoughts, reactions. And yeah, otherwise I shall see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.